Hi, my name's Ellen Murphy, and I am a senior studying environmental studies with biology, and I have been studying Sceloporus occidentalis, the western fence lizard, out here at the Arboretum at the Australian Rock Garden, and I'm studying whether or not they exhibit territoriality. The two traits of territoriality that I'm focusing on is site fidelity. Do they stay in a similar area? And exclusivity. Are they keeping that area to themselves? Are they exhibiting aggressive behavior to other lizards? So yeah, come take a look.
Territoriality is rooted in patterned and conventionalized thinking. In Kamath's paper 2017, she disproved the basis of territoriality in anolis lizards with genetic evidence. Previous research on anolis assumed territoriality based on limited data and biased experiments. With this in mind, I started a literature review to find what previous research concluded on Sceloporus occidentalis with exhibiting territoriality. I found a lot of research overlap between anolis and Sceloporus. The same researchers that were biased towards territoriality in anolis were used in literature on Sceloporus. If Sceloporus are in fact territorial, like previous research says, then I expected to find no overlap in lizard home ranges. Shadal, in 2000, studied Sceloporus and found home ranges of S. occidentalis overlapping extensively. This led Shadal to question territoriality in Sceloporus. With these uncertainties, I conducted research on whether or not Sceloporus occidentalis are territorial. I predict that Sceloporus occidentalis exhibit a more complicated spatial distribution that cannot be defined as territorial. From February to May, I spent a total of 22 days in the field 3 times a week. I caught 105 lizards and re-encountered the lizards an average of 4 times with a range of 1 to 13 times for a lizard. This shows the minimum convex polygons that I mapped out. If site fidelity is true, then most lizards would be recaptured close to the same place over the study period. Only 54% of the 105 lizards were caught 4 or more times within the study site. This percentage could be lower because I continuously caught lizards throughout the study period. Therefore, some lizards were caught later in the study and did not have the opportunity to be re-encountered as much over a longer period of time. The low percentage could also mean that lizards moved outside of the study site and show low site fidelity. I considered 2 aspects of exclusivity: spatial overlaps of lizards' home ranges and aggressive behavior towards neighboring lizards. For the spatial overlap of Sceloporus occidentalis, if exclusivity is true, then the lizard polygons would not overlap, and adult males would overlap less with other adult males. From Figure 1, I saw not only that there was considerable overlap area between male and male sex combinations, but more overlap than other sex combinations, such as female-male and female-female. In addition, the size and sex did not affect the number of overlaps for an individual lizard, as shown in Figure 2 and 3. Smith, Shadal, and Fitch, all people who did research on Sceloporus, also found that males' home range overlapped but still considered Sceloporus territorial. On March 4th, I observed a feeding event where many lizards were gathered to eat termites emerging from their colony. Males were practically touching and showing no signs of aggression towards each other. This feeding event is an example of inclusivity, and perhaps that is due to the abundance of resources. I hypothesize that S. occidentalis males are inclusive to other males, especially when there's an abundance of resource, but still exhibit territorial tendencies from ancestors that were territorial. The energetic cost to uphold a territory does not increase fitness for a lizard when there is enough resources to go around to all lizards. There is more research to be done in order to state definitively whether or not Sceloporus are territorial, but I think that it is time researchers stop generalizing the spatial behavior of lizards with the term territorial. Territoriality has many definitions, and it's used to simplify more complex behavioral systems in animals. Pattern thinking does not make good science, and it is important to use natural history to observe animals in an unobstructed, free, and accurate way. The use of natural history in research allows scientific findings to be understood in their full complexity.